Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What's going on, Chip? Man, it's great to be here. It is Thanksgiving, day before Thanksgiving, and
Eve.
it's a pleasure to be here. Thanksgiving Eve was the word I was looking for. Tonight, we're going to get into this idea and this topic that cryptocurrency decentralization brings about freedom. Actually, Ripple XRP, everything seems to be business as usual. But you know what? There's some things going on, over there in that Asian region, in and around India, and there could be some potential for them to embrace some concepts that help them with some cross-border payments and actually to streamline currencies. But I don't know. I don't know about that, Chip, but I do know that Gary Gensler went to MIT. You ready to kick this thing off?
So he's reminded us. Let's get this puppy going. Let's go, Jeff. You ready? Let's go.
Yes.
Welcome to On the Chain.
MIT. MIT. That's what it was, Jeff. It was MIT. I went to MIT, yo. So tomorrow, if you guys don't know, it's a big holiday in the United States of America. It is Thanksgiving, where we give thanks and eat more food than you probably eat in 3 days. It's phenomenal. And a little drinky poo here and there. It's all just a great little thing. It's just a nice...
Moderate the food and consume the alcohol.
Yes. Or moderate the alcohol and consume the food, or both. Just do them
both.
Make
sure you get the libations.
The libations are good, man. Libations are always a good thing. So, yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot to cover tonight. It's like we always say, like, well, there's a lot to cover. But funny thing is if you guys are subscribed to our email list, you'll get a list of everything that we talk about, and then all the things we never get to, which is always good. So we always have a lot of preparation. There's a lot of show prep that goes on, but sometimes we get off on tangents, and it's just what happens.
That's right.
For example, where do we start, Jeff? I mean, where does this whole thing start?
Man, you know where we're going to kick this thing off tonight? We are going to kick this thing off with this idea, this concept. We're going to dive right into it because Garlinghouse actually had a tweet. And where else would we start than with a Brad Garlinghouse tweet storm? Because those Garlinghouse tweet storms are epic.
Is this the one you're talking about, Jeff, or is that a different one?
That's the one right there. Out with the old and in with the new. And he's referencing things going on over there in India, right? The Economic Times happens to be over in that region. India Times, Economic Times, lots of cool things going on over there. But Brad was reaching out and he said, you know what? Things have to change. While actually, Chip, while this conversation is going on, you know how India's been hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. They don't really know exactly where to stand, so they're all over the place. But now there's more discussion in the parliament. They want to reformat some of the terminologies, and they want to try to push crypto out of the picture, But while they're trying to do that, Chip, there's this identification that Garlinghouse is identifying. Their system's broken, and so they got to figure this thing out. They remember a couple of years ago, they started burning big denomination.
Oh, yeah.
And how did that work out for them? I don't know.
It created a larger black market is what it did. It rooted out some of it. They gave them a month to turn the fiat bills in. And then next thing you know, because the whole idea was to, let's say, get it all out from underneath the beds and the mattresses or wherever it was. And then it turns out it's really great. It's like what happens in an ecosystem. You go like, how we get rid of this one animal, we bring this animal in, and it creates 3 new problems. But you're like, that other animal's handled. And this is the same thing. They were trying to get rid of these large denominations. And ultimately what ended up happening is this massive black market, because they were the people were skirting taxes. Now imagine that, Jeff. Why would people want to do that? Why wouldn't people just pay their fair share, Jeff? They just pay their taxes.
Exactly. They should.
And they didn't. And then they paid even less when they fleshed those large denominations.
Well, the thing is over there, the people that they were after primarily were those that live on fiat currency. They live basically cash to cash, cash in, cash out. That's it. They're not putting in the bank, not saving, and their whole ecosystem was cash, and they're trying to crush that kind of that part of the market. And they thought that if they burned a little bit of that cash, it would push people into banking, and so they created some cheaper banking scenarios. But I don't know if that really works so well. And look at this. Now they're looking. So the Economic Times, look at this panel that recommends an alternative indigenous financial system that's developed on the lines of systems, kind of like what's going on with Ripple over in the US, Instex over in the EU. Why? Because you can accomplish and achieve instant settlement, instant monetary exchange, remittance, cross-border, etc. So
is this the story? That's what they link to? No. Must be not. Why would they link to the? Oh, there it is right there. Okay. So the need for an Indian alternative to SWIFT payment system parliamentary committee. And this is really a great, because, we just had a story last week or not too long ago where they were on the let's outlaw crypto train again, where they were going to say, well, most of them will outlaw, but there's a couple exceptions. So there is a lot of discussion going on around this. If you see, let me see here. There we go. It says India should develop an indigenous alternative to the SWIFT payment system to better protect the privacy of domestic financial data and boost the economy. The parliamentary committee that's looking into the Personal Data Protection Bill of 2019 suggested. The panel recommended that an alternative indigenous financial system be developed. Talked about the Ripple, talked about Instex. And it says the committee observes that data protection in the financial sector is a matter of genuine concern worldwide. I think the other concern they probably have, Jeff, is the whole cost thing, right? This whole idea of cost, remittances back and forth, but it's deathly slow. It's like super slow, super prone to error, 10 to 12% errors. And when you find out you have the error? When the money doesn't show up. Bad timing. I mean, Swift came out with that new thing that said, oh, we got great news. You'll be able to know before the money, before 3-4 days that's messed up, which means almost, I guess that's one way that would have been nice maybe 20, 30 years ago.
Man, 1973 was awesome. That was,
all.
Post kind of like in the beginning of the technological boom. That was right around the time that they were switching over from these old prehistoric rotary phones. Man, I almost dropped it. That would have hurt.
Jeez, look at this right here. Did you know, Jeff, turkeys are security since all you want is the wishbone to get rich on the fortunes? Others work to sell you. There you go. That's what Jim D says. It's a good one. The wishbone. I forgot about the wishbone. I don't think we've done the wishbone. The wishbone.
Make a wish.
Never works out in my favor, though. But yeah, there you go. You get the wishbone. And that's the one part of the turkey that comes down like a little horseshoe. And then two people pull on it, and the one that gets the bigger piece, wish comes true. So you have a 50-50 shot of your wish happening, Jeff, which is pretty good odds 30%. If you buy into the whole thing. And it's a security.
Yeah, it is. So, hey, Chip, what do you think about this? So the Economic Times over in India talking about this idea that they really need a regional SWIFT solution. I say they don't need a regional SWIFT solution. No. What they do need is a cooperation with a RippleNet, maybe even try to build build some asset on the XRP ledger, but at the minimum, start working with RippleNet. And I think that's the point that Brad Garlinghouse is mentioning, because if you go back, the RBI, I believe, and one of the banks over in India, I thought it was the RBI, their central bank, but probably not. It was actually looking at some of the rails with RippleNet. And that's some massive flow of money in and out of India. Lots of things going on over there. To me, it would be a net positive. I think they could benefit. I don't know why they need an indigenous version of SWIFT. Who wants SWIFT? And even in that article, it's from 1973. So 11,000 banks are using an old protocol from 1973 that has zero instant settlement. That's a messaging platform. How's that going to help them?
It's lost in time, Jeff. It's the 1970s technology lost in the 2000s. It's really pathetic. But I got two words for India. The first one would be Bhutan. The second one would be called Palau. And if those are the pawns, then we have time to move the queen, because when you get over 1 billion people, 1.35 billion people now utilizing something, now we're having a conversation. Now we're talking about it. But again, the proving grounds will be Bhutan and Palau. And the funny thing about Palau, the other thing too, is someone wrote a tweet And I think it was Matt Hamilton that chimed in on it. He said there was no, because someone asked about a CBDC, and he said, no, it's not a CBDC because there's no CB in Palau. They use the USD. There is no central bank there. So they use the US. So there can be no central bank. They're not going to create a central bank to issue it. So the whole idea of a stable coin being basically parity with the US dollar.
That's exciting. And so think about this. Moneybags Not Bob is saying, let's spend next Thanksgiving in Palau. Population 18,000 people. How many people do you think we can bring over?
18,100? Be 100 people then.
We can bring an extra, maybe 100, 200 people to, maybe we can try to get about 10% of their population as for a Thanksgiving dinner. We'll do an on the chain meetup for next Thanksgiving over in Palau.
To go, Jeff.
It is pretty far.
It's a beautiful place.
Sounds like it'd
be
pretty cool.
Oh, it would be pretty cool. There's no doubt about it.
That's where we'll officially set up the on the chain office over there in Palau with some. All right. So anyhow, what's next? What are we talking about? What's going on?
I'll tell you what I'm talking about right now. Something happened to my browser. So I got all
crazy.
Got all crazy on me. Yeah. So, moving right along. So another big thing that came out, which really, a lot of us probably are well aware of some of the things that are in this article, but Eleanor Terrett, she works with Charlie Gasparino, the Fox News Network.
That's right.
Oh, wait a minute. This is playing a video in the background. I don't like when that happens. So she wrote an investigative report titled Regulatory Riddle, an investigation. Let's put it up on the screen here. An investigation into the SEC v. Ripple case and the consequences for crypto. So I love how they frame that right off the bat. And, what was really wild after reading this, Jeff, when I went back and looked at the tweet she sent out, she said this was her first investigative piece. And I was like, wow, bravo. What a great way to say, hello, world. I am an investigative journalist.
And she came out swinging with this one.
Boom.
I like that too. Chip, a regulatory riddle.
Yeah. And so Eleanor Terrett, and she also does a cool stream with Charlie where she checks in. They kind of talk about some of the week's, goings on and what have you. Come on. I don't want this. Thank you very much. But it is really too long. I think the best thing we'll do is we'll probably just hit some of the headlines, talk a little bit about it, because this is a monster piece, almost like a small book. It's not War and Peace, but it's, as far as article goes,
pretty close.
In post, pretty damn close.
So it kind of gets to the abridged version.
Yeah, so this is just the intro stuff. There's
we recognize that character.
Janet Yellen. She's always yelling at somebody. But let's do this here.
Let's do the picture version.
Yeah, it says one of the things it says, Ripple wins, the stakes are just as high, but in different ways. Yeah, innovation could flourish as the SEC cedes control to the Commodity Futures and Trading Commission, the regulatory body that regulates commodities with a much lighter regulatory touch. But blockchain just might become the new internet, a technology so transformative that it can replace traditional banking in other ways people buy and sell stuff. And I think that right there is instrumental. And there's that seal of the SEC. So
I like that she was saying a little bit right above that paragraph that you were reading there. She was referencing what's going on over in China. It says even worse, crypto innovation could be stifled here in the U.S. based on some of the things that the U.S. is doing, and it says here, and move offshore to places where the government isn't demanding financial disclosures. There's a lot of governments that are friendly, but then here she also references China, fighting for dominance of world economy. Right now, it seems like they're trying to dominate global or regional. Eventually, it could be global. But right now, it's regional, in my opinion.
Exactly. No, exactly. And then again, like I said, we'd have to do 3 shows on this because it's just massive. But it's very well done. Jay Clayton, the case against Ripple commences, and Ripple's case against the regulators begins. So that was just like the intro right there. The intro, kind of an overview of what's happening, what's at stake, and then it talks about Jay Clayton.
Scroll back up. Yeah, scroll up real quick. There we go. Right there. A new Uber regulator over crypto appears years away. However, divisions in Congress will slow any move. And if the Republicans regain control of the House and Senate in 2022, there'll be even more inaction since Biden, a Democrat, will control the White House until 25. Meanwhile, the Ripple case will drag on, and the industry will debate its messy state of affairs. What are your thoughts on those statements?
That's a patently false statement. I say less than 6 months time
for what?
Left for the resident in the White House. That's what I'm giving.
Yeah, I don't see him in there much longer, but
it's roughly $6, 6 months maybe. So GDLT, thank you for that super sticker. Thank you, man. Good to see you. Another fine streamer in the space who has a lot of fun and great with the presentation style.
Yeah.
What do you got there, Jeff?
Right above that too, I mentioned. So she was saying, talking about Hester Pierce with the safe harbor that stalls all future SEC enforcement actions until a more holistic regulatory framework is enacted. She wants Congress to take into account crypto's unique status as an important technology that needs to be nourished as opposed to attacked by the government. And I think that's interesting how she points it out, because there's a perfect juxtaposition there where attack by the government is Gary Gensler, right? The more holistic kind of approach to figure things out, nourish the technology, and understand the technology. That's more Hester Pierce. And she was one of two commissioners who voted against the full commission bringing the charges against Ripple. So I'm glad she's bringing out a lot of great things over there.
Oh, she really is.
Talk about Fox News not taking a stake. But
yeah, it's just too long. We're not going to get through it all. There's just no way, guys. Look at this. Look at the scrolls until we get to the next paragraph.
But again, MIT. Did you see that?
I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did read the whole thing, so it is but again, it's a really well done piece, and it covers a lot of stuff we've seen others tweet, maybe videos, whatever, but it talks about, like right here, it talks about Jay Clayton leaving, a longtime securities lawyer with expertise in mergers and acquisitions, became a senior advisor to his old firm, Sullivan and Cromwell, as an independent director of the board. It links it all together, links it together with Hinman. A lot of stuff we've talked about. Bill Hinman in a speech heard around the crypto world, which was, 2018, that at the Yahoo thing. And boy, does that become the debacle right there. And it talks about Ethereum in here, Gary Gensler. It's just a lot, guys. I recommend it. It's a really good read. Oh boy. Gary.
That's a lot of information. It'd be interesting if she broke this down into chapters, and then started hitting it. There you go. The Ethereum empire. This is interesting stuff. Is this still her article?
Yeah, it's the whole thing, Jeff. It's really long. It's a long article, man. It's really incredible. It talks about Lubin, Buterin, the whole saga of Ethereum, the Ripple rebellion. Ripple achieved the milestone. XRP digital coin was used on the platform held by top execs to become the second most valuable crypto in the world, worth more than 100 billion, surpassing digital currency of the mighty Ethereum. So interesting, when people, it's really great that she's pointing this out, because people go like, well, it's the seventh coin now and nobody remembers, but there was a time when it was sneaking up on Bitcoin, and it had overtaken Ethereum. So, and she also breaks down the whole thing about when Clayton left right before that, going to One River, that their major investment they were going into with Ethereum and Bitcoin, and how it coincided with this lawsuit getting dropped. So there's a lot of stuff to unpack. I mean, it's just an incredibly well written.
And this is great, Chip. This is really great stuff.
It really is. And unfortunately, we just can't get to it all. But
What's that statement from Garlinghouse up there right there? I think I'm going to sue the SEC. John Deaton groaned as he read the news just before Christmas in 2020 that Wall Street's top cop had filed securities violation charges against Ripple and its top exec for failing to register sales of XRP digital coin as a security. I like how she references XRP and not the Ripple coin or
she knows
the Ripple
better,
token. She's does.
Well, you could also add that John Deaton. You could also add that his title, John Deaton, the former Marine and former federal prosecutor, is ready for battle. So he's battle tested.
Just an unknown litigator in Providence, Rhode Island.
No, not at all. And it was right after he dropped that. I think it was a week and a half later, he appeared first time anywhere on the chain.
Right here.
He was cool enough to come on
the chain.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it, right? And then there's a lot of but that's it. So this is a great one right here. Like, is this an article or a Dostoevsky novel? When I read the headline, I thought it was about Fred Sanford's favorite drink, Ripple. Oh, I need a drink. The big one. The big one.
Oh my God.
The big one is coming. He was having a heart attack throughout the whole series. So that was, if you guys don't know, the Sanford and Son, it's one of the greatest shows ever.
What is that question from? I gotta believe a lot of people that are commenting are not 100% on with the asset. But here we got: the problem lies with any statement that pick a medium can be used for criminal activity. Saying that about crypto cash, debit cards is not solution. Deal with the criminals and get your hands off my assets.
Ooh, a lot. And the name, a lot of anger.
A lot of anger. All right, how about your Patriot One, man? Great job, Eleanor and Charlie. There's a lot of detail here, but it all needed to be shared with the public. That's what I think is key right there. It is being shared finally. You know, here we are. We talk, tonight's a slower night. We have about 130 people listening live with us right now. And if you're brand new, make sure you hit that subscribe button, subscribe down the chain, because we do stream 6 days a week, Sunday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Had to get that plug in. But check this out, Chip, with the, this idea that mainstream news readers are going to look at this, and they know Charlie, they know Eleanor, and now all of a sudden their whole world just opened up to them. They're like, what is this? What's this big suit? The SEC, what is this about Ripple and Ethereum and Bitcoin and all this great stuff going on? It's outstanding.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of great comments on here. The comments just go on. I mean, look at them.
Where's your comment there, Chip? Is that yours?
I don't comment on this, Jeff. We're commenting it right now. So anyway, a fantastically well-written, well-sourced article. And it's so great to see this in one of the largest business, not only publications, but outlets. Fox Business, I think, is bigger than CNBC at this point. And it's just really great to see that. I mean, and they really battle. And it's funny because Charlie Gasparino came from CNBC, I believe. I think he was with there 10, 11 years ago.
I think so. Check that out. I love how it referenced the millions Hinman earned from the Ethereum supporting law firm while working for the SEC. And then GDLT. No, that wasn't the one I was looking at, but GDLT, you gave a shout out earlier. Well, here we go. Colin Benson, Elizabeth. I'm coming to join you.
I'm coming to join you. That was Fred Stanford's line. The big one. The big one. Yeah, Fred Stanford, man. Dun, 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 dun. That was a great show, man. Yeah, sometimes it might be just good to look up these old shows and just kind of just rip through them again, because you have fond memories of it, but it's fun to rewatch them because you pick up on things you might have missed around the first time. But and then let's talk about this here too, because I thought this is pretty intense. Again, a lot of stuff going on. So Ripple tweeted this out. This is interesting. Ripple put this tweet out here, and just a couple hours ago. But let me see if I make this bigger. Come on, what's going on here? What's going on? Oh, there we go. So this Ripple put this out. Real-time payments are gaining momentum, and digital currency is positioned to play a significant role in its future. Read on to see what others like about Citigroup's CEO had to say. And again, this is another phenomenal article. There's just, wow, there's so many great things coming out today. And it's weird because, usually it's a slow news day before a major holiday. At least in the United States, right?
Yeah. Good stuff.
And this one here on Blockworks, she said, despite Fraser, who's the CEO, certainty that digital assets will be part of the future financial services, Citigroup is proceeding with caution in the space due to regulatory uncertainty. So here you have a CEO really gets it, understands it. But again, because Citigroup is one of the, probably top 10 banks in the United States, has this, they're probably telling, their attorneys are probably telling her to stand down, proceed with caution, because you don't want to go too fast and then get yourself in trouble.
Exactly. That's awesome.
Yeah, and they're working to connect clients to wallets, enable corporate clients to accept consumer payments. The global bank sees benefits from the digital asset space around processing, fractionalization, programmability, and transparency. So kind of covering all the grounds right there. And, she said the digital assets will be part of the future of financial services, a really incredible statement, and the financial markets. And that's pretty much what's happening. There is a little bit of, we're probably going to watch this. I mean,
let's play that. And then once we come back from that, I'm going to pull up some, so we got Nair and Kumar is over here tuning in. India already adopted Ripple XRP. Then we got We United. Hey guys, it's 6:53 a.m. in India. Just woke up with this video notification. That's awesome. If people don't realize, India is actually 10.5 hours ahead of the U.S. of
Good
East
morning
Coast of Eastern time here, 10.5 hours. But hey, just give a shout out where you guys are tuning in from over there in India. It'd be awesome to know, and that's great to know that India is already on it. But Naren is posting that over and over and over again. So yes.
Already adopted.
All right.
So here we go.
All right.
Tell me if you hear this, Jeff.
Jane, I want to ask you about another huge topic, and that is crypto and decentralized finance. And I guess I want to, as a CEO, I can ask you sort of the big strategic question. How do you view this nascent, incipient world that is obviously affecting your bank and your business? And how do you plan and move forward?
A topic we spend a lot of time discussing with many of our partners and clients as well. So I think you start off with a premise. It's clear that digital assets will be part of the financial services and financial markets, the future of them. We already see clients very active in the space. Real-time payments are both in the sense of they're frictionless, they'll become more global, they'll become ubiquitous. Real-time payments will be here in the near term, and digital currencies may be part of that future. We see benefits from the digital asset space, instant processing, fractionalization, programmability, and transparency. Very geeky work.
Something happened. I think it timed out, but really, again, the biggest problem that she went. Something happened with the.
So check this one out, Chip. So we know that Ripple actually has that office over in Mumbai. So We United is reminding us of that fact that Ripple is already over there. They have their office in Mumbai.
They do have an office in Mumbai. Yeah, they do have an office there. And what's cool about that is, well, the thing about it is, she's like, in our conversations with with our partners. She didn't say that, I did, but it's pretty obvious that the enlightenment comes through talking to other companies, and she really understands it. But again, it's this regulatory hurdle. And again, what we see going on in India, it's like, it was just like 3 days ago, I think we had an article that said, India Parliament's looking again at basically tapping down all crypto, making it illegal, except for maybe they'll make some exceptions. And then today we get the story that, well, Parliament's taking maybe what they really need to do is change the terminology. And it's probably seems like you're not going to win because the will of the people is way too great. You're not going to stop it. It's the same what happened when they tried to get rid of those large denominations a few years ago, Jeff. It's just, you tapped on one problem, but then you create another one. And again, they are probably taking their time step by step. They don't want to make another big error. And that's why we've heard for 3 years, India's outlawing crypto. No, India's moving forward. Nope, they're going to outlaw it. Nope, no exchanges. So it's been a combination of all sorts of things.
So confusing, Chip. It's way too confusing. I feel for guys, so we got We United over there in India, and they definitely have some issues within government over there, just like everywhere else in the all over the world. There's definitely issues within government. But if you go, there's within India, there's always issues with corruption. And so, that's, I know all the years I was traveling over there for work, that always came up. It was like, there's another, round of conversation at the parliament level due to the corruption. And then you also see corruption within the transaction. So if you have to forget about just the banking space, so I'm sure the banking space, there's a lot. If you're moving money, there's money being exchanged, hands. When you're trying to clear things through customs, there's fiat currency exchanging hands in order to speed up custom process over there. And that just becomes a way of life, so some of the things that we were talking about early on, and, as We United is referencing, a lot of issues over there. And I got to believe that, from a government level, from the central bank level, since there's a certain way of moving money around and enriching each other, why would they want to rock the boat? It's good for the people, but it's not good for those that hold the wealth. And India, I find India is a really interesting country, mainly because of the breakdown of the economic classes over there. So you have, and just based on population, Chip, so you've got about 1.3 billion people over in India. about 200 million people could be considered to be in a wealthy class segment, right? 200 million. That's close to the population of the United States. About 300 million are what you could reference as middle class, that individuals that have disposable income, don't know exactly what that income is, but middle class. And then the rest of the population is living in poverty. And some of them are living in poverty like you've never witnessed in your life. But the one thing that I saw going over there, it's been a couple years since I've been there, is that the infrastructure was constantly developing and advancing. And there seemed to be a passion to get more and more people into the middle class and out of poverty and moving up, through the echelon. And obviously the country came out of the caste system. So there's obviously a lot of issue with that as well, culturally speaking, that would also interfere with, I think, some of the things we're talking about with decentralization equals freedom. Do you see how that would kind of intertwine into the conversation?
Oh yeah, man, without a doubt. And I think they're going to go head first into the shallow end is what I think is going to happen. There might be a little bit of pain, but they're going to get there a lot faster than I think anybody thinks. It's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But in other news, Jeff, I wanted to put this up there because this was a weird tweet that was sent out today. And again, it plays into a larger sort of thing going on. Adidas Originals put this out. We partner with Coinbase. Probably nothing. I love tweets like this because it kind of get you going. It's like, wait a minute, probably nothing. Wait, what? So it's like, we partner with Coinbase. Probably nothing kind of leads people a little bit crazy. And then I saw this one here, which was Adidas and Coinbase will partner on payments. We partnered with Coinbase and talked about what they wrote on their German sportswear giant Adidas is one step closer to accepting cryptocurrency payments after announcing a partnership with Coinbase on Twitter. And one of the greatest stories ever told is the two brothers, one founded Adidas, the other one founded Puma, and the fight that ensued, and then they broke off and they never spoke to each other again. And it's just a great story, but two amazing brands that are still going today. I love my Pumas and I love my Adidas. It's really my two favorite. Nike's kind of it's just not. It's me. It's all about Adidas and Puma. There you go.
Yeah.
So we partnered with Coinbase, the company that wrote it. They said nothing. And then Coinbase, founded in 2012, was a platform to store Bitcoin, Ethereum, blah, blah. In recent months, also partnered with esports organization Team Liquid. We had that story about a week and a half ago. University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School of Business, and to enable cryptocurrency payments. And the news quickly gathered attention on Twitter. The original post gained over 8,000 likes. I think it was way up above that. Let me see, what do they have here? 41,000. So yeah, at the time of press. And then there was this one from NFT Futurists. Nike needs to step up. They're not only dabbling with Roblox, Nike Land, where Adidas is going headfirst into the crypto metaverse with Coinbase. You like that, Jeff? Headfirst into the shallow end for maximum impact.
The metaverse.
Of the metaverse. I'm just so tired of hearing the word metaverse. So I got to be real honest with you. It's like meta this. It's like Facebook had to crank it up, and everyone's like, no, we're doing metaverse. We were doing metaverse first. We're more meta. No, we changed our name to Meta. We're going to be change our name to Metaverse. It's just a little bit too much for me.
Dude, but it's interesting because of what's happening right now in this metaverse.
Oh, without a doubt.
Jeff. So to get this idea that they're all trying to stake their claim to the space, and it's all about advertising. It has nothing to do with anything beneficial. Who cares if Adidas or Nike are in the metaverse? Because they're just claiming location. It's just advertising. It's money. I really don't care, but that's what it's all about. It's good for them, good for everybody else. But hey, just as a side note, these notes are coming in, flashing in, as we're talking, and he seems to be repeating them. But he's saying India is the world #1 in digital spending, and we're now overcoming corruption ever since Modi took over.
Yeah.
I make every payment digitally. I stopped carrying cash, even small vendors. And that's a big step. That's huge. A really, really big step. Modi has done, there's people, both sides, pros and cons. I think Modi has done overall from an outside perspective. I think he's done a pretty good job. He's was loved over here in this country and filled stadiums when he came to the U.S. But it's really interesting to see this movement for them over to an easier method of payment to really help, because just like we were talking about in Kenya, right? We had the guy over there that was farming, and he started buying supplies in digital asset. He started collecting money in digital asset. I'd always thought that India would be a hotbed. I thought if they just allowed crypto and digital asset to spread over in India, it would just take off like wildfire. And Naren is really confirming that from a digital perspective, they want everyone to digitize. But I think, Chip, you brought up earlier on the reason why they want them to digitize. They want them move them towards the digital rupee, similar to the digital yuan, so they can then make sure they're collecting their tax from all those people in that large group of population that's twice the size of the U.S. They want to make sure that so many people that are dealing only in cash will now pay their taxes and they can monitor them. But they were also under the guise they wanted to bank them in their banking system. But man, I think there's a lot going on. Oh, what is that?
This is Chip and Jeff. Keep up the good work, brothers. Let me know if you or the XRP community comes to India. Welcome. Yeah, I'd love to. It's one of the places I really need to visit because there's a lot of things that I'm a big fan of, but yeah, it's something that's on the bucket list for sure, man. So you never know when we'll be doing a world tour, but I'd love to do that. I'd love to meet up with people on every continent that watch the show. I'm just incredibly blessed. But Jeff, it gets a little bit deeper here. Look at this. Crypto Wolf put Adidas partner with Coinbase, and people still think crypto is a fad. It's a great line right there.
I like that.
And it says earlier this week, the company also hinted at the possibility of partnering with the virtual metaverse game known as the Sandbox. Adiverse, anyone? What should we build together in the Sandbox game? Now, if you guys don't know this one here is this is the Sandbox right here. There it is right there. Now, one of the things that it's virtual gaming. You build and you own and you monetize your game experience. And again, so they're kind of like floating that whole thing about the Sandbox. And then here's the Sandbox right here. Kind of has that Roblox look to it as well. But then, the virtual world. So this is something we ought to look at, Jeff. We ought to get some virtual players in this. Game Maker, you create awesome 3D games for free. You can edit, create maps, gaming. It's good stuff. Check out those partners. Look at Atari, Jeff. I grew up on that.
No, that's awesome, man. I love, for overall though, if there's going to be, more reference in the gaming space, I think we see Roblox is taking a very strong position in this so-called metaverse. We're going to see more gaming going to this metaverse. And I think at the end of the day, the concept of the metaverse also is connecting everybody that's in the gaming environment. Because if you can game in one, and you can earn from one game environment, and you can take that money and you can bring it to another gaming environment. But more than that, if you have skins in the game, you can then go shopping in the metaverse and maybe go to the Adidas store and buy your skins for Fortnite or whatever the latest craze is. I don't know if anyone plays Fortnite anymore, but whatever the latest craze is, you go to the Nike store and whatever, and they're all building. And then there'll be little individuals that are building things out. And that'll be the metaverse. It'll all be online. I think more involved with gaming, I think, is where it's going to be. I mean, that's cool. If that's it, how are you going to get in? What are you going to have to wear goggles to go in the metaverse? It's man, come on. Getting too deep in the metaverse. People start living in the metaverse. It is pretty sweet.
That's the whole thing. That's my tweet yesterday.
Yeah, we got a invite from Kyle to the Navajo Nation.
There you go.
It'd be pretty cool.
There we go. So it's just cool. A lot of cool stuff happening, Jeff. I mean, it's just really insane the level of stuff that's happening. I wanted to.
Oh, hey, let me pull this up since you're on the Coinbase kick, and you see that Coinbase is partnering with Adidas. Is it Adidas or Adidas? Which one is it?
We said both. Adidas.
Yeah, but check this out. So Coinbase just acquired crypto wallet firm Bird. You remember that?
Huge. Yeah,
I do remember this is just massive. We have no idea what it is because it's undisclosed how much they paid for it. But the Bird utility token went up 500%. 500% immediately following that announcement. That's massive. So things are going on over in at Coinbase. And as we know, Coinbase is publicly traded. There's a lot going on. They're focused on profit. But think about that also, Chip. Even though Coinbase is getting into and partnering with Adidas, but Coinbase is publicly traded. It's not going anywhere either. No. What's next? Who's going to be publicly traded next? I mean, there's a lot of room here. And as Coinbase is going to go on a buying binge, and start buying up some of these companies, we're going to see some interesting things happen, I think, in 22. I think we haven't even seen the interesting stuff happen yet. We think we have, but I think it's going to get even more and more interesting, especially as we get one of these big exchanges buys a bank or something like that. That's going to be the day, Chip.
I think it's going to be FTX at this point. That's my money might be on them just because they're just crushing it in so many ways, and we'll just have to see. But you never know. We'll have to keep a close eye. So last night, Jeff, we talked a little bit about Vagabond. We talked about December 1st is coming up quickly.
Oh, bread. Did I say bird? I said bird. I meant bread. Bread.
Yeah. It's coming up. The snapshot's going to happen Central European time. And it's on December 1st. I know some people in the U.S. are thinking about the holidays, but guys, if you have XRP, you're going to want to set up a trust line with Vagabond. And again, you don't have to. It's something we recommend. I mean, it's just something Jeff and I like this, but we just talk about things that we like and we enjoy, and we think there's something there. But again, like the project, it's an operating system which provides decentralized business apps, media/meta assets focused on customer service, analytics, application development. So that's right up our alley. I mean, especially what Jeff and I talk about here pretty much nightly on the chain. We talk about the decentralization, and having business apps decentralized is going to be phenomenal. Meta assets, everything. Some of the things they're looking to do, it's just it's big. It's like blowing up the space, kind of coming in, bull in a china shop and making some stuff happen. And here you go. Here's the website, Vagabond. From rough idea to powerful concepts, and turn your concepts into reality. So they're really getting into this. So it's kind of split up two ways. You got the Binance Smart Chain and the XRP Ledger. That's kind of an interesting thing. I don't know that a project's actually taken that approach, Jeff, where they've kind of done a dual type of a thing. Develop business models for the new economy. It's just, there's a lot of great stuff that's actually just coming up. Choose your industry, start right away. You are going to need Vagabond. Every company who's ever defined its own use case or finds its use case in our library and has evaluated whether blockchain is the right tech for use, you can build your decentralized apps in minutes, test their functionalities, and then make a profound decision. Combining Vagabond with in-house development capabilities, every organization can build on top. So look at that. I mean, so what they're working on next is you got the NFT, you can mint NFTs on BSC and XRPL. Again, that's why I think it's going to be impressive. They picked the two biggest, at least the most popular, the marketplace and auction, the treasury, which is going to be all about liquidity, and then payments. And then they're not going to roll it all at once. They're going to pick one. They're going to start doing. Now, last night we talked a little bit about this, and as you guys know, Moonchaser is an advisor to the project, and Moonchaser had seen the show, and she said, thank you, Stephen, Chip, or thanks, Chip and Jeff, for talking about the upcoming Vagabond snapshot on December 1st on your show. Some questions were raised, and I'll answer them here. So this is cool, Jeff. These questions came up last night. For example, this one, I guess I got to click on this one. Do you have to see it? Hang on a second here. Let's see. Yeah. So this was the question last night. This was Hans Loaded. He said, can I have more than one account with 1,000 XRP on each and then have VGB airdropped on all of them?
Oh, wow. That's a great question.
I want to know that
answer too. Yeah.
So the answer is the VGB supply allocated for the airdrop is limited to 20 million with a AD ratio 1:1 XRP to VGB capped at a max 1,000 VGB per account. To enable relatively fair distribution for the XRP community, I would discourage claiming or setting up more than one account. And already some of the challenges that they've run into, Jeff, is the fact that all these bots were going around setting up accounts. So not only do you have to set your trust line, but you also have to fill out the form because they're going through it to make sure. They want to make sure that it's legitimate and they're not just a bunch of, bots moving around, making all these accounts up.
And they're doing KYC and all that stuff. And you know what? I'll tell you what. We've met, a bunch of leaders in different projects. And, I was super excited when we met Alex Mashinsky the first time to learn about Celsius and the inner workings of his mind, in creating that amazing platform, Celsius. But I'll tell you what, I think after just seeing the background, don't know, who knows, Vagabond might not even turn out to be anything, or it could be the most amazing thing ever. But I'll tell you, I'm more excited to meet Vagabond and the leadership of Vagabond than I have been with pretty much any other project at this point, because of the fact that they're focused so much in the business space and helping businesses get involved in this space. To me, that's huge. And there hasn't really been many that have even thought about how to, pull off some success like that. And so I'm super excited to meet these guys behind Vagabond and to see, where they're going to go. It could be, amazing. Right.
Yeah, so this was the other question that came up last night. This was Ani Brito. She said, seems like Vagabond will be counting the XRP that's locked up in trust lines. I'll confirm shortly. So got the answer on this. Yes, the XRP account balance is captured for the snapshot. It will include the reserved XRP amount. So in other words, when you set up a trust line, it takes 2 XRP to set up the trust line, but it's whatever balance you have. If you have, that's not counting that balance, but the 1,000 reserve that you have in your Zum wallet is what's counted. So again, once you set up a trust line, once your trust line's set, it takes 2 XRP to set up that trust line. And then there's the 1,000 that you have in there. Now there's always I saw another tweet by Vagabond that said that the other thing they're going to do too is if they don't hit that threshold, they will distribute a little bit more. If there is some, chances are there just probably be the 1,000, but it would be a first come first basis. So it would trickle based on who set up trust lines first. If there was any additional, it would hit those first couple first based on that. But man, I got a hats off the Moon Chaser and a Vagabond product. Jeff, you talk about a major quick response time. And she's also based over in Tokyo. And it's funny because Crypto Arity and her have done some interviews together, and really both just amazing. The stuff that some of the interviews that I've watched, last one I watched was phenomenal. But again, that's some pretty fast response time. It also speaks loudly to me about the project and what's happening there. So yeah, we'll see if we can get the team on the show and to talk about this project a little bit. But here it is right here too. You can see it on the screenshot. Set up your trust line. If you haven't done it, you fill out the form. That's key. It's not about just setting up the trust line. You got to fill out the form. They're trying to root people out. They don't want everyone just going through and setting up trust lines. You got to fill out the form. It's pretty simple to do. It's not that big of a deal. So what do you got going on over there, Jeff? You're snickering over there.
I don't know. Norseman is saying, are Jeff and Chip crazy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%.
Our minds.
Who questions it, Jeff? Nobody. Is that a question? Of course we are. We're nuts.
Crazy.
Who would come on here streaming like 6 days a week? What the hell's wrong with you? Live stream.
Crazy.
If you want to grow, if you want to go fast, you upload videos. You remember Brad Kimes? Brad Kimes was stuck around 20,000. As soon as he started uploading, boom, and then it was 2 times a day. Then it was 3 times a day, and then boom, broke the 100,000. And that's the way to do it. But we like the interaction. We love the interaction with the audience. So
yeah,
that's
awesome stuff.
So thank you for that.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, I love the comments in here. I just sometimes you'll read the comments and you say something and you realize you say it slightly off or something. Someone will comment on what you said.
Yeah, well, it's good that we have here people to correct us, Jeff, because a lot of times we do say things incorrectly. But I want to say something. I'm on the record, and I will go find the video. But when Flare was first announced, it was like a blip a year and a half before it came out. This guy right here was like, dude, Flare is going to be massive. Flare is going to be great. And I talked about it a little bit, and people were like, dude, what? Seriously? What's Flare? And I was just big on it. So, I mean, got another project, Vagabond, another project that we're just, big on.
Excited about it. Really excited about it.
Check this out right here, Jeff. Hugo Filion, obviously the CEO and founder of Flare.
He's another one we got to get on the show.
We got to get him on the show. I want him to wear one of those big fuzzy sweaters too, because I'm gonna put my swetter on. I'll put a.
Oh
Jeff,
yeah, would you wear a hat? Sweater night.
Would you wear a hat that night? He's got a great sweater he wears.
And a sweater. We'll do a sweater night. So it's gonna have to be cold here, and we'll ask him to pull out one of his cool sweaters, and we'll each get sweaters on. I'll wear a fedora.
So again, look at this. Like, I get super excited about these tweets here, but Hugo Filion, Flare's partnership with Go Rival is super exciting. Read about it here. Look at this. Database error, Jeff. Who expected that? Not me, certainly. Let me see if I can do this here. Yeah, I had this problem last time. It was like, man.
They're not going to let you get it. They don't want you to see it.
I'm just going to go there. What do you think about that? I'm going to go to Go Rival. Go Rival. What do you think about
It's
that?
the Twitter.
There it is right there. Boom. Let's see if we can get there this way. Look at that, Jeff. Everyone's hammering it.
Twitter's blocking you.
Somebody's blocking. I don't know. It's like I can't get to it.
Twitter.
But there it is right there. Flare and Rival.
Ooh,
Flare partners
look
with
at
gaming and fan engagement platform enterprise provider Rival. This is really big stuff. And why can't we read it, Jeff? This is so weird. I was looking at it earlier today. Keep getting database errors. Huh.
It's gonna be big. Look at that. Jim D saying Flare is in a position to pick winners and losers based on which tokens they let into their network. Think about that. Think about how back in the day, we always, we were sitting around and, talking about Coinbase adding XRP. Jungle was all, you would tune into Jungle's videos and you'd be like, all right, what information does he have on Coinbase adding XRP? And it was all about it, so. Is that what's going to happen to Flare now? Is Flare going to be the place?
Our own Florida Panthers announced a gaming partnership as well.
Man, with Flare.
So it's a little bit about Rival. They're an enterprise services technology company delivering unique interactive fan experiences by integrating their customizing gaming platform into a client's fan engagement and digital strategy, able to develop and enrich a fan community. Rival Games, Rival Control Center, Rival Coliseum make up the tech stack. It's through these main products that leverage the popularity of games to enable clients to grow a loyal fan community. So it makes sense. The Seattle Seahawks, American football team. So it's kind of cool to see what's going on here. But the fact that it's going to be over on Flare is very exciting. Welcome to the Coliseum, Jeff. Look at that.
Mike B was saying, hey, Jeff, I heard you last night about stacking papers. I think he meant stacking boxes. Were they from MIT?
I think they might have. Look at this, Jeff.
All of them were from, yeah.
Speaking
Look at that.
Of jungle. There's
Welcome to the Coliseum. Oh, what is that?
Right,
that looks pretty sweet.
Oh, fine arena. It's like, I guess you gotta get into this whole thing. I want to just look at it, but it looks amazing.
Is that a game or is that just their
well, it's like a fan experience. But look at the Florida Panthers are already there. It's amazing.
Sweet.
Florida Panthers are there. Let's see if this is readable. Nope.
Well, while you're trying to make it readable, I got to give someone a quick shout out.
Come on, man, Berserker.
Berserker. They're throwing database errors all around. But again, look at what's happening in such a short period of time. You could say that Flare, with its token coming out, right? We have the Songbird right now, SGB, but look at all. It's going to launch, and it's going to be on how many? It's going to be on like what, 30 exchanges? No coin's ever done that before. But again, strategy behind it, airdrops, everything else, exchanges providing support for, I would say some of them, not all of them, a bunch of them, providing that support for the airdrop, and then boom, you're on the exchange. Pretty damn smart, if you ask me.
Just like that. It is pretty smart. They're putting the rails down. That is, it's going to be interesting. And part of that idea of the sandboxing with the SGB, I'm wondering if you can just open it up, say, hey, we're on there with SGB. Flare, the spark gets introduced immediately. I do think, what Jim was talking about, Flare is positioning themselves very, very nicely to really take advantage of a lot of these assets. One of the things that you said early on is that they gave Doge a use case by adding Doge into their ecosystem. XRP's in the ecosystem, XLM's in the ecosystem. And, the idea of what they're working on and orchestrating the smart contracts and being interoperable between smart contracts. So allowing an XRPL smart contract to interface with an Ethereum smart contract. So I think they're on to the right direction. And meanwhile, while they're trying to get their stuff rolled out, there's a lot of other things, going on. I hope that, they are able to, get things together. There was I'm trying to see if I can find it. So a number of years ago, there was a robot called Jibo. I don't know if you remember it. So
I don't.
You don't remember Jibo? So
no.
They introduced this robot. Let me see if I can pull it up. So they introduced this little guy, and they introduced him for like $800, and this was like before the iPhone support and Alexa and all that other stuff started to be introduced. But they brought this guy out, and then they kept delaying the inevitable to their launch. Eventually, never really launched, and then it was too late because all the things that it did, Alexa and some of the others did already, and there was timing, and they never got to launch it. As far as I know, it might have come out as a game, but nothing serious. And I hope that doesn't happen with Flare, but I think Flare is way already getting involved. That's why you bring it up with their partnership with Rival. There's a lot of things to do and orchestrate behind the scenes before they launch all their product.
Yeah.
And man, it's going to be big once they do come out.
So there's just two last stories I want to try to jam in here in the last few moments we have here. But this one right here, Bitcoin should not be legal tender in El Salvador, says the International Monetary Fund, better known as the IMF. The financial institution said the Central American country's plans to acquire more Bitcoin will require very careful analysis of implications for its financial stability. Jeff, they have the IMF on the ropes, and they are going to defy the IMF, and they're going to stick it up your whatever, and they don't even care. I mean, is anybody surprised the IMF, which is just a charity organization, is going to be dictating and thumbing their nose down at El Salvador and the president there? The president wants to create a community run by Bitcoin. It's tax-free, everything else. It's basically running on volcano power. And the IMF is going to stick their finger in the middle of the equation because they are just an absolute disaster. And this is what happens with all of these organizations. They're trying to protect their bottom line, and they know they've lost it. Now, if they allow this to happen and become legal tender here, they're pretty much done, Jeff. It's going to be legal tender in more places. So they got to try to squash it before it really gains. And they're really trying hard. They said the announcement of a $1 billion Bitcoin-backed bond made by President Bukele on Saturday was not discussed in joint meetings. Of course, they're probably flipping out of this, right, Jeff? This whole thing.
There's definitely a problem. I mean, you think about the IMF, right? So they're going to come out and say, we recommend you don't use Bitcoin as legal tender. Why? Why is the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, why are they so hell-bent on crushing decentralization and freedom? Why are they so hell-bent on El Salvador taking a step in the direction of independence, financial, sovereign independence for their country?
That's why. Because it's a threat to their very existence. And then, Jeff, to sort of round it all out, I love this article. This, of course, on Zero Hedge. CEO of world's most important bank bends the knee to Beijing. Okay, this is none other than Jamie Dimon. So first of all, let's get to his statement. So JP Morgan chief executive officer Jamie Dimon quipped that his bank is most likely to outlast China's Communist Party. We hope we're going to be there for a long time, Dimon said of China. He related a joke he made during a recent visit to Hong Kong. The Communist Party is celebrating its 100th year. So is JP Morgan, and I bet you we last longer. So that's what he said, right?
How's that going to go over in China?
Now, when asked for comment at a press briefing, the Chinese foreign minister spokesman Zhao Lijian said, "Is it really necessary to cite such remarks that are merely to attract people's attention?" Uh-oh, Jeff.
Oh, no.
He upset the CCP. Oh, no. Apparently that didn't go well down in Beijing. And
Dimon talk to the head of Alibaba, Jack Ma, and see what happens when you upset the CCP.
Look at this, Jeff. I regret, and I should not have made that comment. Dimon said in a statement to the bank. I was trying to emphasize the strengths and longevity of our company. Well, here's what Zero Hedge said. We suspect this is why. Billions at stake. Wall Street banks have billions of dollars of exposure to China. Who's the biggest one? By a nose, Citigroup, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley. This is in the $1 billion range, 20 billion plus at stake there. Yep, 20 billion reasons why the CEO of the world's most important bank joined the likes of LeBron James and genuflecting at the altar of Xi. I love this publication, man, because they don't hold anything back. But again, I'm just reading from an article, and I'm not saying.
But where's Jamie Dimon, Chip, talking about the tennis star over in China? Why isn't LeBron James talking about the tennis star over in China?
No, he's talking about the guy who's putting freedom on his shoes, and that's what he's talking about. He's not talking about the sellout. But anyway, Jeff, something other exciting tonight, exciting news tonight, other than the fact that we stream, we have a brand new, I created a brand new outro.
Ooh, sweet.
A brand new outro. We've had the one since we started on the chain. We've got a brand new one. Be curious to think what you guys think of it as we get out of here. But when do we stream, Jeff?
Well, I'm getting ready to pull it up because since it's on the internet, it means it's real. When we just say it verbally, people are like, well, you say it and you do it, but is it real?
Hell yeah, it is.
Check it out right there. On the Chain, broadcasting live 6 days a week, Sunday through Thursday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're brand new here, you haven't been on the chain before, well, this shouldn't be your first, shouldn't be your last. So make sure you hit the big red subscribe button, hit the bell notifier. When you do hit the bell notifier, you're supposed to get a notification about 20-30 minutes before we go live. I love it because when I get that notification, I'm like, oh, that's right, we're going live. I got to remember to get everything set up and get ready to go. But sometimes they don't put the notification out. And when they don't do that, then you have to remember that we're streaming every night, Sunday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Except for tomorrow because it's a holiday, Jeff.
Except for tomorrow. That is the caveat. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. We won't be on tomorrow. We won't be on Friday, but we should be back Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Chip, as always, it's a pleasure being here, co-hosting On the Chain with you.
Absolutely, Jeff. A lot to be thankful for. It's been a great year. I want to extend that thanks to everybody. Thank you. Look in your life, whether you celebrate the holiday or not, but just look around. A little gratitude for all the great things that are going on. And if there aren't great things going on, don't think about them. Just keep moving on. Move along.
That's right. And on the 7th day, Chip, visit OTC in the metaverse.
In the metaverse. We'll be hanging out in the metaverse, Jeff and I. It won't be us. It'll be someone that looks like us with really blocky heads.
That's right. When we move on the chain to the metaverse.
To the metaverse. Place. I can't wait to go, Jeff.
To the Metacave.
I'll own nothing. I'll be so happy. I cannot wait. It's going to be awesome.
To the Metacave.
All right, let's do this, guys. Here's the brand new outro of OTC. See you on the next one. Chip and Jeff out.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.